Let's see if I'm live here. Okay. Broadcast testing. Let's see if it's coming through. Alright, so what is up, everybody? Good evening to y'all. Sorry I'm started this live stream a bit late in the Pacific time. Just got up from a nap. been smoking too much weed this weekend. But yeah, man, I found another secret video. Shane Dawson supposedly is trying to hide. I mean, like his Hey Millie series, like where he had a puppet. He's basically trying to hide that because he has like a lot of nasty child themed jokes found by this YouTuber Sanders Kennedy, who's been on top of Shane Dawson for the last couple of weeks. Like he's exposed some really creepy shit, really creepy things that Shane Dawson said, also really creepy content that Shane Dawson has made. I mean, let's see. Let's see the video. Shane Dawson.
10. This show was created called Hey, It's Millie. It was created by Shane.
Oh Lord, this commercials. You know what? I could get YouTube that doesn't get ads, like YouTube Plus, but I don't know. It seems like a waste of money to me, so I might as well give it some ad money. But it says
Dawson
like his
and the
videos
Fine Brother. It only lasted a couple of years, but it featured an 8-year-old puppet that said very inappropriate things and did a lot of inappropriate things. It featured Shane Dawson and other YouTubers, and we're gonna look at a few clips. And I am not joking. It's very disturbing. I tried to censor it as much as possible, so check it out.
That they decorated saying me. Is this the right way to do it in a good way? It could be a little more gentle. You know what we could do, Millie?
You know what's weird? It almost feels like Shane Dawson is basically grooming, man. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, y'all heard the y'all heard what they said about Elysium, saying like he's like grooming these girls and all that. Well, Shane Dawson's been doing. I don't know, man. It feels like Shane Dawson has basically been doing the same thing for his 10 years on YouTube, basically grooming kids sexually. Like seriously, like basically, like his whole show is tailored towards children. The vast majority of Shane Dawson's audience are children, you know what I'm saying? Basically he's exposing them to like really weird, creepy, sexual, pervy jokes. I don't know, I might be one of the few people who's catching on the what is up, CSK Bay? What's happening, man? Sorry to start the stream late, man, but I had to lay down for a little bit.
Motorbike! What's motorbike? All right, Millie, that's it. That's all the mail we have today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Shane. And it was amazing to finally meet my hero.
Oh, well, it was amazing to meet you, and I'm sure we're gonna hang out all the time.
When?
Here goes another ad. But yeah, as y'all see, man, Shane Dawson is in some really deep trouble right now, especially in this environment on YouTube. Like, you can't get away with making content like this anymore. I mean, this ain't 2011 anymore. Back in 2011, you're able to get away with a lot more edgy
you know
shit.
what? I'll call you. I'll let you know.
Well, but I don't have a phone. You know exactly.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
What? Maybe I'm not understanding this right.
Oh, the Fine Brothers is involved for this too?
So what is
I actually met the Fine Brothers. Like, I met the Fine Brothers at a YouTube Space event like a couple of years ago. They're actually really cool guys, man. They actually gave me a lot of pointers on how to grow my YouTube channel. Oh, it's 1:34? Oh, that means you're in the Central Time, huh? Yeah, you're in, no, Central Time. No, you're Eastern Time. You're Eastern Time. Yes, it's 10 in the Pacific. Yeah, you must be from the East Coast.
What is a type of filmmaking?
Oh, it's a filmmaking! Yay!
No.
Like this! We're making together!
No, we're not
and
making
come on
porn.
down and watch Ralphie the Grown Man made with an 8-year-old!
No.
Almost 9.
It's a type of filmmaking and films that are only for adults.
It's like back when the blacks weren't allowed to go to the same bathroom.
Not the same
Oh,
thing
Lord.
whatsoever.
Yes,
Find the
it is.
Fine
You're
Brothers.
sick,
I don't
little
associate myself
kids,
with
all
Shane
my
Dawson
little
right
kid
now.
friends.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, we should be
That
able to
boy's
watch
in
whatever
trouble,
we want.
man. You
I
mess with
want
the
to watch
Smith
anything
family.
I want,
Your ass is grass.
I wanna watch whatever I want, even if it's on Glee.
Yeah, like Shane Dawson made the wrong joke towards the wrong type of people who has actual power within the industry.
So
What was he
Millie,
thinking,
you a
Cracker
fan
Joke
of
and
the
Will
D?
Smith? Did
Are
you
you talking about your
think he
big-
was gonna get away with it?
What? No.
Nah,
I was talking
Mr.
about D like Deezy. Man, where did you learn how to talk like that?
Look at him faking a black C. I mean, back in 2011, you're able to get away with this stuff. I mean, because it was a less PC period. It's so weird. Like, I'm going to show you a graph from a guy named Zach Goldberg, like a little later on, to show, like, all of this woke crap started, like, after 2013. And if you kind of, like, pay attention, like, my theory is, basically, a lot of this stuff started after Obama got elected again. Like, after Obama got elected again, like, the left went on, like, a full-blown, like, cultural revolution. Like, they just stepped out their cultural revolution game, like, 3 times.
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, and iCarly. She's so cool and attractive. I love the way her hair
See?
flows
Pedophilic
down.
jokes. I mean, because Selena Gomez was not an adult back then.
So
Shane Dawson was in his
and you
20s.
know her and her butch friend.
Look at
I
this.
mean, wouldn't you, Deezy? Oh, and her newly developed.
Boy, Shane Dawson is in really big trouble right now, man. His YouTube career is
Don't you
done,
think she's sexy,
especially
Deezy?
in this
Hey,
period.
what does sexy mean?
I mean, because the thing is, like, Shane Dawson never apologized for any of his content until he got caught. He made a convenient apology of convenience because he got caught with all of this nasty, disturbing shit. I mean, the fact is, like, I'm not a really big cancel culture guy, but if there's anything that should be, anybody that should be canceled, I mean, for real, I mean, following all of the rules, it should be Shane Dawson, not someone like Jenna Marbles or Stefan Molyneux. Because Jenna Marbles basically erased her whole channel just off of her videos, like having like a tan face. It wasn't even really blackface, it was just a tan face, but somehow like the social justice bullies got on her tail about it, and she deleted her channel. Basically, I mean, she made a video that looked like a hostage video, but someone like Shane Dawson, who's been making like pedophilic and really pervy jokes towards kids, managed to get away for like 10 years until all of this surfaced now.
What? No.
Wait, Deezy, follow-up question. What does mean? Can you explain it to me in graphic detail?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean,
Whoa! That reminds me of the thing that my dad used to show them when I was
What
3.
is that? Oh boy, it's even worse. This guy, man, this guy really is creepy.
Shane, hey.
Wow. And basically, the Fine Brothers are trying to delete their association with this series. So, yeah. All of this shit coming out of Shane Dawson, man. This dude is done, man. His whole YouTube career is over. Like, he deleted like almost all of his content from his old channel, Shane Dawson TV. So, you know the dude is like guilty. Dude is 100% guilty, and I just can't stop talking about Shane Dawson right now, man. Because I was talking about Shane Dawson like way back in 2014 about all this content, and nobody gave a crap. And all of his fans, all of his fans was like just crap on you and stuff, and basically was like, how dare you be jealous of Shane? He's so talented. He's so funny. So I'm just getting a big shopping through of Shane Dawson being canceled right now. I want to see some of these comments. I can't believe this was considered humor. Well, that was YouTube back in pre-woke times, man. It's like you was able to get away with like really edgy content until 2016. After Trump won, it's like YouTube got on this like full-blown outrage purge, man, like a cancel culture purge. Like, we gotta cancel everything edgy. We gotta cancel all this racist humor. We gotta cancel everything for a better world, da 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 da. I mean, yeah, exactly. Child abuse is not a joke. I mean, yeah, I mean, he was able to get away with just nasty, edgy type of humor. But the thing is, I think Shane Dawson really does have like those tendencies. Like, I mean, like the vast majority of his fans were kids. Somebody else sees like he's a child groomer. That's the way I see it, man. Like the dude was like grooming kids. I mean, cause a lot of conservatives they bitch about like drag story time, like a lot of it's like grooming kids, like little sexual jokes and all that. Like basically like raising them like sex and all that. I mean, what Shane Dawson doing is basically the same thing. Like they see it. This is grooming. Yep, people see now a Shane Dawson fan trying to defend him by his whataboutism. I mean, just like Trump supporters do all the time, basically when they're defend their guy Trump when he says something stupid or makes a really mean, nasty tweet. I mean, they always like, what about Obama? I mean, look what Obama said, man. Obama's so divisive. I mean, that's what Shane Dawson fans stands are getting. Like, this is more disgusting every day. I can't believe this. Oh. Trust me, it gets worse than that, honey. It gets a lot worse than that. I don't get why Shane Dawson, even 2017, because he might be actually one of them. Yeah, Shane Dawson does have a really sick mind and was allowed to get away with it because he was friends with Susan Wojcicki. I mean, Shane Dawson is one of Susan Wojcicki's favorites, so she's able to let him get away with whatever he wants. And the thing is, like, pedophilic jokes are like more allowed with that said than racist jokes. Seriously. It's like you can get away with, I mean, like James Gunn making all those like jokes about little boys and all that. Basically, like you're able to get away with making jokes about that, but not about like transgenderism, or like J.K. Rowling saying women are people who menstruate. Everybody get all super offended over that and call her a TERF, but you know what I'm saying? Like Shane Dawson can make all the sick jokes about kids he wants, which hasn't been found out until now. Like a lot of people in the comments are like surprised, like, oh my god, this is so inappropriate of Shane. Shows what's inside him as a person. Sick and twisted. Under no circumstances this joke, regardless if it's a puppet. He uses a mask of anxiety and depression. He's a sick man, disturbing footage. I have kids. They came across this video, just sickening. And that was the audience that Shane Dawson tailored his videos to. And now people in 2020 are finally catching on to this. They've caught on to something I've been on to since 2013. 7 years. It takes 7 years for folks to found out about this. Like, look at this one comment. I don't see how this series was even successful, or was it? It's disgusting and crude humor. I would have never accepted it then. Shame on the audience for supporting this and allowing him to move on because Shane Dawson had grown to enjoy watching. And it's like, he made this in a pre-woke period. Most people watching were children, preteens. It was normal. I mean, it was basically normal. I mean, like basically the biggest YouTuber back then was PewDiePie. I mean, basically the biggest YouTubers were making like super edgy content. I mean, it wasn't as sanitized like it is now. I mean, because a lot of stuff on YouTube is like super sanitized, man. It's insane. Empath, I don't care, man. Normalizing pedo behavior. YouTube still trying to protect Shane. He's one of their golden boys. And I mean, look at this. Like, wow, this is disgusting. This guy doesn't meet a count. This predator should be in jail. And wow. And another person that's been canceled on social media, especially by the Black Lives Matter sect, is Terry Crews. Yeah, I want to move on to talking about Terry Crews, man, because he's been one of the boldest dudes on social media right now, because he's basically being like the new MLK, basically not seeing people for their color, but as a person. I mean, he made a very rational, reasonable tweet here on the 4th of July. I should have talked about. I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but I got so wrapped up with the fireworks. But this is a very reasonable, rational tweet. Are all white people bad? No. Are all black people good? No. Knowing this reality, I stand on my decision to unite with good people, no matter race, creed, or ideology. Given the number of threats against this decision, I also decided to die on this hill. Like, this was something MLK would have said back in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. I mean, basically, MLK was a guy that wanted people to judge people by the content of the character and not their skin color. But the left has totally twisted what MLK said, and basically it's like, white people shit. Fuck white people. White people got all the money. Fuck white people. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's a lot of racism towards white people. But the thing is, they changed the definition of racism to include like systemic or like privilege. Basically, changed the definition from racism from basically being about racial superiority to then being about systemic oppression. Weird intersectional, like critical race theory, like Kimberly Crenshaw crap. Basically intersectionality basically took over a lot of the left, and I mean a lot of them aren't really liberals anymore. They're more like identitarians, because liberals always saw different perspectives. I mean, they might not agree with that different perspective, but they respect that different perspective. But identitarians don't respect different perspectives. They want everybody to say their way. I mean, if you're a black person, you're supposed to 100% agree with the Black Lives Matter message. If you don't, like, you're some kind of coon, you're some kind of self-hater. Like, if you don't hate white people, like, you hate yourself. It's so weird. It's so weird, but the thing is, they want white people to, like, hate white people. I mean, the thing is, if a white person hates a white person, like an Eminem said something bad about another white person, they're like, oh, yes, you're woke. But if Terry Crews says, are all black people good? No, like, oh, man, you're a coon. What is wrong with you, Terry Crews? You got so much internalized white supremacy in you. You're really like that guy on White Chicks. What is wrong with you, Terry Crews? I mean, the folks that are giving Terry Crews love are basically basically folks not on the far left of the ideological chain. As you see, like, Anomaly, he's a Trump supporting, I mean, kind of conservative guy, but he's not fully on the MAGA train. But yeah, it's mostly like conservatives or people not with the left that are supporting what he's saying, and folks on the left who are heavily disagreeing what he's saying because he's taking away their narrative. He's really like, I mean, that's why they're so mad at him, because he's basically legitimizing like their narrative of like white supremacy. Like, white supremacy is the biggest issue right now. We can't talk about like black people are bad, or we can't talk about black on black crime because it's taken away from our message. I mean, that's all it is, really. Like, he's basically sidestepping their message. Like what Benjamin Dixon says, like, you decided to die in hell, false epiphany. And then someone responds, who respect the pompous studies will interpret this as an epiphany? It's a restoration of the truth we all should already know in the time. Yep. Seeing person by the content of the character rather by skin color. And then look at this guy saying like he's falling to the sunken place. This is another intersectional. And this guy is a bit of a coward because there's no responses, but there's 8 responses, so yeah, here's the quarter showing up like he's showing Terry Crews love. Like, yeah, I mean, like, the quarter's right. Like, the stakes has never been higher for Darren to step outside the improved narrative. I really hope to see you in the next season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and live stream the next PC build. This used to be common sense around 5 years ago, not a hill to die on. Well, the last 5 years has changed a lot. It's like anybody making a statement like that now would be labeled right-wing, coon, a Trump supporter. Toady. I don't know how I can do that, bruh. I'm just talking to CSK Bay. Oh yeah, by the way, Kanye's running for president. I should have put that on the title. But the fact of the matter is, it's too late for Kanye West to be an actual serious contender because I mean, there's been deadlines of states deadlines to fall in, and Kanye failed to meet the deadline in a lot of states. So basically, he's just going to be a spoiler, and he's most likely going to take a lot of votes away from Joe Biden because basically, I mean, he's going to take a lot of young and a lot of black votes from Joe Biden. That's why Democrats are super scared right now because all Kanye's running is basically a spoiler campaign. Let's keep it 100. I mean, the fact that you see so much pushback for this patently reasonable stance show how bad the situation is. Yeah, it's basically like we're in a moment right now where basically a lot of people want a race war. It's basically what it is. Like, I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, folks, like conservatives, like evangelicals, or like folks on the right, they downplay racism. They'll say, I mean, racism is not a big Trump supporter. Racism is not a big deal. We had a black president for 8 years, and then we got folks on the left who says like this is systemic oppression of African Americans, of people of color, can't happen no more. It's time for a revolution. And I'm like, man, what the fuck is going on, man? It's like everybody just wants a race war like really badly. I mean, I live in California, and like I mean, there's a lot of racism here. I mean, a lot of people. A lot of Hispanics are racist against other Hispanics. A lot of Asians are bigoted against other Asians. A lot of blacks are bigoted against African immigrants. A lot of whites are bigoted against whites with different accents. I mean, we're all bigots, man. I mean, seriously. Everyone is racist. I mean, that's the way I feel about it, man. Like, growing up in Southern California, like, you don't see race as black and white, man. It's like, you basically see, like, different groups. Like, basically, like, I can't group, like Koreans and Filipinos as the same people. Like, they have different backgrounds, different religions, different histories, different languages. A Korean is as different from a Filipino as they are to me, and as me to like Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause the fact of the matter is, like, I'm actually a quarter European. Like, I'm mixed ancestrally for one thing. I'm also like 1% Native American. I mean, like Native American, like Southeast Asian, surprisingly like Indonesian. That shocked me, but yeah, I'm a mixed background, and like a Nigerian, will be of a pure African background, and also be of a tribal ethnic background, like most Nigerians, like in America, like Igbos, like Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, Ikto, they think of themselves as like tribes, and I mean basically Nigeria, like the northern Nigerians don't have love for southern Nigerians because northern Nigerians are more Muslim and southern Nigerians are more Christian, and they're fighting each other over religion. So it's not like racial isn't the only divide. I mean, there's religious, there's language. I mean, look at Canada, you know what I'm saying? Like French and English Canadians, like they're basically two completely separate ethnic groups, even though they are the same color or basically the same genetics. I mean, French Canadians have more like Iberian than English Canadians do, and English Canadians have more different like European ethnic groups like Ukrainians and Germans. I mean, like Justin Bieber, you know what I'm saying? Justin Bieber's English Canadian, but yeah, I think he's like part French Canadian too. But yeah, like there's like really big like ethnic struggle between like French and English Canadians. I mean, that's the way their society is built, and our society is built like more on racial, like white and black. But in reality, the white group has never been strongly defined. It's always been defined as in black, because basically like Italians and Irish and the Italians and Irish weren't considered white because they weren't Protestants. They were Catholics, and that was the divider back in the day. The divider back in the days was religion, basically Catholics versus Protestants. But the thing is, the left being irreligious, they're trying to like fight against like religion entirely. But the thing is, like a lot of these secular left wing, a lot of these secular white folks who go to college, they don't realize the vast majority of folks on their side, like the black folks and the people of color and all that, are religious. Like Hispanics are hardcore Catholics, and us black folk are hardcore Protestants. We're like evangelical Pentecostals, basically. I grew up Pentecostal, but I'm a Catholic now. So yeah, a lot of Baizu white leftists don't get the diversity of people of color. And here's someone calling Terry Crews a house nigga. See, we're very. I mean, to be honest with you, Black Americans, we are racist people. I mean, let's keep it 100, man. I mean, a lot of us are openly and straight up racist, yet we don't say they are because we don't have systemic privileges. But basically, we do have the privilege to be as racist as we want, when we want. I mean, I say racial shit all the time. I mean, I almost got canceled off a racial joke about saying Koreans all look the same, even though it was, I don't know, yeah, it wasn't very politically correct. See, that's the thing. Like us black folks, we're not politically correct at all. We say what's on our minds. And this was on his mind. If house nigga was a person, I mean, it's a very racist statement, because basically saying like Terry Crews should agree with everything he says. If he doesn't agree with everything he says, like, oh, you're some house nigga, man. You're a coon, man. I mean, I think this is a QAnon type Trump supporting guy. Yeah, if you see like 3 stars, that's a QAnon. So because Terry Crews does agree with you resort to racial slurs. Hypocrisy knows no bounds. That's basically what it is. So he's running for valuing everyone, right? And this movement's not about everyone. So he's excluding the racial importance of everyone based solely on skin color. And every moment is about everyone. We all wanted since when? Multiple years. Not just talked about in the news. And look how quiet she got. See, if you don't, I mean, this is the key way you know you own somebody on social media, when the person is just blank after making strong statements like hours later. The only people defending them, wait, if that's really how you think, that you're part of, yep, you're being racist. Yeah, I mean, seriously, like a lot of intersectionality is just straight up bringing back racism, bringing back Jim Crow, bringing back segregation. Like if you saw that Chaz, like they had like a black only space. That's segregation. And the thing is, California trying to reintroduce affirmative action laws, basically bringing back racism. It's all it is. Basically grouping people by skin color. What you want black people to do? Tell us you prefer. What's your point of saying white people defend it? There's nothing he's saying that needs defending. She's just being racist. I mean, that's all it is. Wait, so all black people are good and all white people are bad? If you don't disagree, you're ignorant, blatant racist. I can see what I can see where black people are coming from, like their anger about Terry Crews, like airing like dirty laundry, because basically. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because basically, like everybody, like every black person got outraged over George Floyd's murder. Like it was, I mean, it just felt like an execution. I mean, it felt like an execution, like a abandonment of civil rights. Basically, George Floyd's civil rights was taken away by Derek Chauvin. Basically, like him kneeing the guy on the guy's neck for like 10 minutes. It just was cruel, man. Every black person outraged. They wanted revenge, man. They wanted revenge against the police force. They wanted revenge against white people, basically. I mean, but the thing is, like, a lot of these folks are getting their information from race baiters. If you ever remember this quote from I'm gonna show you a great quote from Booker T. Washington about folks like Al Sharpton, Sean King, basically folks who love using racial grievance. Here's a great quote from Booker T. Washington was basically a old school. He was an old school Larry Elder type, basically a black Republican. Pick up your bootstraps, like very factual based type of black man, and it has a really big influence on me too. Like there's a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out their troubles, they have grown into the setter habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy, and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they don't want to lose their jobs. It's basically what it is. It's basically Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Sean King, like cats like that. They basically need like the racial grievances to get paid. I mean, I don't hate the play. I don't hate the player, man. It's just the way the game is. And let's see who she follows. Oh yeah, this is a woman that got ran over by a Eritrean. She got ran over by a black guy, but the guy's race wasn't named. And her dumbass, I mean, she's a clear example of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So basically, the people she's following doesn't have much credibility in the first place. See? Yeah, she basically follows the far left Bernie Bro set. Yeah. Yeah, this is the Bernie Bro set. We're not having the same. See, it's basically people who don't really want to like have a discussion. They just want to yell at you. I mean, seriously, she's in the echo chamber. She's in like echo chamber, but basically, like her view is affirmed, and she doesn't get challenged on her views. Like, I mean, basically, just Terry Crews just saying the most reasonable, MLK type, middle of the road thing. You proved how someone can be racist though to share the skin. What the hell? What the hell is he talking about? The ability to prove what the ability of speed does not make you intelligent. He's big in his mindset. I mean, his skin color is race. Thanks for proving my point. And what the fuck is he talking about? You got no point. Look, your education levels are showing. It's not okay, man. You're not changing my mind. No matter how skin house nigga is not okay. House nigga. Yeah, exactly, man. You're just racist. I mean, seriously. Bet you would say that to his face. Best believe I would. I mean, the funniest way to do to like knock up. Yeah, let's see some more like anti-Terry Crews type stuff. Black people. I mean, you know, could turn to black supremacy if you're not careful. I mean, but the fact of the matter is, like, if you look at the civil rights movement historically, yeah, a lot of that stuff they really did turn into like like you know, sound like the Black Panthers and all that. I mean, a lot of Nation of Islam, a lot of stuff really is black supremacy. Let's keep 100 here. But they don't really believe that because in their minds they believe like I mean racism means like systemic like privilege or systemic advantage, and like they've never had a systemic advantage, so how can they be racist? It's just basically a way to for these folks to excuse their racism, and that's all it is. See, they're calling him Uncle Ruckus, but they just revealing their own racism. I mean this is all. That's all they're doing. All these cats are doing or exposing their racist mindsets. I mean, you guys are no better than the alt-right. I mean, seriously. You guys aren't better than Richard Spencer. This is coming from, like, it just sounds like the same crap like white identitarians say. I mean, seriously. And they saying cancel Terry Crews like I cancel. See? All of the militant folks wants to cancel Terry Crews for saying something MLK has said. I mean, if MLK said something like that now, he'd be called Uncle Ruckus. 100%, man. I mean, we're in such divisive times, and people are just looking to divide on purpose over dumb crap. I mean, Cause the thing is, like, a lot of these folks don't know how good they have it in America. Because in America, they were able to say this crap. Because, I mean, in England, you're not able to say whatever you want to say. Or, like, in Canada, or, like, in other English-speaking countries. Like, the U.S. is one of the few countries where you can say mostly whatever you want. Because we have a strong First Amendment that these folks on the left want to get rid of. Because they know, like, the U.S. has a strong freedom of speech. Has strong freedom of speech in comparison to other countries where, like, it would be legal to have hate speech, like calling someone a house nigga. It's a racist statement. It's a blatantly racist statement, but people don't see it as racist because they don't have the systemic advantage. It's so retarded. Yeah, I don't know, yeah. He's still talking about. And look at this, Tommy Lauren is trending too. What the media gets right about police. Oh, whatever, Tommy Lauren. Let's see this. I don't like Tommy Lauren. She's a reactionary. Nothing she said. I mean, nothing she says is like just makes no sense. I mean, she's basically the white version of Candace Owens. And they're basically reactionary grifters. I mean, if you see Lawrence Southern, she's basically like in the same same space as Lawrence Southern. Basically, a woman using her looks, using like pro-Trump talking points to make herself big on social media without really knowing much about the issues. Because Tommy Lauren is not really that educated on the issues. I mean, if you look at her in any debate, she gets completely exposed as lacking any substance in what she says. I mean, let's keep it 100 here. So, yeah, moving on from Tommy Lauren, let's talk about J.K. Rowling. Another woman the left is looking to cancel because she said something about the transgender movement. And here's Charlotte Clymer, your neoliberal, your standard identitarian grifting neoliberal. And here's what she said. Just to be clear, J.K. Rowling comparing hormone therapy to conversion therapy. We're saying the glaring here because not hormone therapy and conversion therapy, what it means to be transgender fight. I swear, man, this whole transgender movement is, to me, is basically like white men trying to get on the intersectional train and get victim status. Because the vast majority of transgenders are men. I mean, look. Let me show you a transgender mark. Because mainly, like, they love using, like, black transgender women. But that's basically, that's a Trojan horse. Let me show you the vast majority of people who are be at a transgender rally. White men. Look at this. It's white folks. I mean, you got some black folks there too, but yeah, it's mostly white folks. There's lots of men too. Look who's holding a sign. A white man. The future isn't bright. Look how many men are in that crowd. It's basically, I mean, to me, the transgender movement is basically a way for white men to get some sort of victor status within the intersectional hierarchy. Because basically, like, if you're a trans woman, you gain, like, extra, like, intersectional points. It's all like Tumblr crap, basically. Erase hate. See? They basically trying to make, I mean, basically white men trying to make themselves look like victims so they can fight like, oh yeah, I'm fighting for civil rights now. Because the vast majority of transgenders are basically white men. I mean, let's look at the numbers. It's basically white men. And then Black Lives Matter, the organization, put in Black Trans Rights Matter. I mean, like black trans, like have. I mean, seriously, it's a BS Trojan horse. I mean, look at the main group, white men. This is all white men wanting victim status. Look at that. Like, you gain intersectional points saying being a trans woman. Or like being non-binary. It's like a weird cult, weird religion, really. But the reality is, this is all like just cultural signaling. It's basically cultural signaling, like, well, like I'm this college-educated person, like I'm more knowledgeable than this non-college-educated person because I support Jesus' rights, trans rights. We march for all. No, you don't. You march for people you agree with. Love without it's all nonsense. Fix society. In transphobia now. As you see, the vast majority of this crowd is white, and a lot of them are men. The thing is, like, these clowns basically usurped the Black Lives Matter, George Floyd movement, like all the momentum towards like changing, like having a serious police reform, basically got thrown out the window with these clowns creating like chassis and like safety zones where we're going to create safe zones for people. Yeah, it's all nonsense. See from Seattle. But yeah, look at the photos. Look at the vast number of the crowds. White men. Like the movement, the transgender movement is predominantly funded by white men. And J.K. Rowling, being a real feminist, sees a problem with the movement because it's really like just some Trojan horse for white men to get victim status. How many? There's a number of Hispanic transgenders. There's a number of black transgenders. There's a few Asian transgenders, but the vast majority are white. And the thing is, most of them aren't even post-op. Most of them are basically, the biggest number of trans women are basically self-identified males. They're basically cross-dressing males. Yeah, it's a reality. And then, like, J.K. Rowling is getting Trump-level heat for basically defending women and children from our point of view, because she is a feminist. She's most likely a second-rate feminist, and she can see like transgenders as being a problem. And I'm trying to find a J.K. Rowling thread, but I gotta go on her Twitter. Ah, man. Look at this. I can't handle the amount of transphobia. Look at them. They lose their damn minds. They're losing their damn minds because J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling has FU money. You can't cancel her. She already got it made. She can basically do nothing for the rest of her life and still live a comfortable life. So you can't cancel her. That's why they're flipping out about J.K. Rowling just basically disagreeing with the whole movement. But here's what she's saying. Yeah, she made this whole thread about transgender movement, like transitioning to different sexes. But yeah, she ignored fake tweets and the threads, but she ain't gonna ignore this. See, look. You lie about, y'all can read that. Lie about mental health and when you're just like a trans woman. You crossed the line. See? They trying to make her out like she's like this big, like, transphobe, but she's just making like common sense sentences like women are people who menstruate, which is biologically true. And the weird thing is, like, a lot of folks like supporting this transgender movement says like we should believe in science. Yet they believe gender is a spectrum. There's more than men and women. There's more. There really is, but the thing is, it's mostly men or women, or like hermaphrodite or something like that. I'm not really educated. Or like an asexual. But the thing is, they just. This whole thing is basically confusion. I ran spoken. And basically, these trans activists don't want any logical debate because they know a lot of this stuff doesn't really stand the argument. So basically, the only way they try to like, basically, I mean, what they trying to do is basically censor the debate. They don't want people talking about this because if people talking about this, their whole thing is exposed, and then like, well, wow, it really makes no sense to have biological men in women's competitions. That's my biggest problem with the whole transgender movement. I mean, the thing is, like, they could have created a transgender competition, like transgender section. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but having born males in a female competition, of course they're going to dominate. Because the thing is, like, even if the post-op trans man still had his penis taken out, they'll still have more testosterone than the average woman. Seriously. Even if there's post-op, they'll still have more testosterone because most men have more testosterone than women. But the transgender activists never talk about that, or they gaslight it. I mean, that's all they're doing. Trans activists are basically gaslighting. And basically, she sees this whole transgender movement, or sees a lot of it, as basically a new kind of conversion therapy for young gay people who being set on a lifelong path of medicalization may result in loss of fertility or sex. This is quite red pill. This is quite red pill. It seems like it's basically a movement to stunt fertility, and have white men have claimed victim status. And like her concerns were explored by a BBC documentary, whistleblowers talking about transitions driven by homophobia. Transition for others, exactly. I don't care if you become trans. I mean, you can be who you want to be, but don't shut down discussions, man. We need to have discussions about these because it's important. I mean, because the transgender movement knows, behind closed doors, like this is what their movement really is doing. That's why they gaslight and try to censor people, because they know what the truth is and they want to hide it. But I mean, J.K. Rowling not giving two shits is going to let people know. Like she's talking about Sophie, who's a trans woman, true feminist ally. She was making a point that antidepressants were overprescribed to teenagers in the past with serious consequences. The long-time health work, yeah, exactly. She's basically seeing the problems of people getting pumped too many drugs, or people transitioning, people being confused, because that's what this movement is trying to do. It's trying to confuse people. None of that may disturb your belief in your own righteousness. And so I can't pretend to care much about your bad opinion about me. Oh man! All right. I gotta hit this last comment. Professor evidence-based medicine has described the off-label puberty blockers on under 18s as an unregulated life experiment. Yeah, basically like a lot of this stuff is actually funded by big pharma too. Like dig into the money and like who's funding this movement. A lot of it is funded by big pharma, and they basically want to give puberty blockers to like kids. And if you see exactly where that's going, pedophilia. Normalization of pedophilia. That's exactly what it is. Oh yeah, here's J.K. Rowling's screenshot of Sophie's tweet. You can see how cynically it's represented her. Yep, new antidepressants. They are sometimes necessary and life-saving. They should be a last resort, not the first option. Pure laziness for those. Yeah, exactly. She's pushing back on the medicalization of the whole thing. And it really is becoming a really big, it's becoming a bit of an issue. But look at the trans activists and look at the liberal feminists and folks like that. I don't see you rallying against that. Look at her defending men. I mean, she's being an inner misogynist. And I mean, look at this woman trying to just label someone as a transphobe. I mean, that's true. I mean, this is a balanced statement, but I bet you she's like Tony Bruno, probably conservative. Stop, yeah. And they're basically playing defense for the trans movement. I mean, because a lot of trans activists, they don't really know what they're talking about. They're just doing this to get likes on social media. They don't. I mean, the thing is, I bet you this woman gives no fucks about a transgender. Never been around any transgender people in her life. She's basically trying to get like 1,000 likes on Twitter from like the movement. You know what I'm saying? Like the activists who tends to co-sign this, make themselves like, oh, we're supported. And like she's trying to say like I support you, but she's really just doing this for her own ends. I mean, she's doing this just to get likes and clout on social media, and probably lots of followers too. Let's see how many followers she got. She only got 422, so she's just doing this for likes. And she's having a factual debate. I'm guessing he saved that one using anyone crushing a young person's medical transition. That's what you think about minor genitals is transphobe. What a badass. He blocked somebody and got 6 likes. You think... I still don't know how Twitter works, man, but Major look. That's a funny joke. I love how trans folks think we just waste hormones. Think that's the years of psychotic. Why does a trans get free access to hormones and testosterone is banned in sports? She's right. Hormone using trans to see a psychologist. Yep. He doesn't care about being PC. Why are you using a slur? Are you just a bad person? Alright, I'm gonna respond here. Says a person calls somebody a transphobe. Yeah, my keyboard's jacked up. For making a rational comment. Rational comment on hormones. Alright, hormones. There we go. Bam. Spawn. Bam. Got him. I wonder how they're going to respond. Oh, medical. No one's trying to deny it, man. Transition difference for patient well-being. People, they need therapy in the mental disorder, man. You're sick trying to enable it. Yeah. I mean, that's basically all they're doing. They're excusing mental illness. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people on the left think they're defending the underprivileged and all that. But you're basically defending the most privileged people in society today. I mean, because the thing is, like, you say anything about